begin with the most crucial part of trading that every trader should develop, the morning pre-market trading routine. This is a process I've broken down into 4 steps, and I'll go through one by one with you. Whether you trade large caps, small caps, options, or even futures, you should always have a pre-market trade planning process. This is a time for a trader to analyze the overnight market conditions, what happened in the morning and in news, and develop an action plan for the trading day. So let's start with step number 1 of my pre-market trade planning process, scanning for gappers with built-in scans. I always start my morning with stocks.io. This is the essential tool for me for steps 1 to 3. I've saved so much of my time and made my scanning process and stock selection even more efficient with the built-in strategy scanners. I customize them to fit the way I trade for both day trading and swing trading. So you can see the 6 built-in strategy scans over here that's built into stocks.io. And during the pre-market sessions in the morning, I use these 3 over here. Let's start with the first one. So this one over here, you see pre-market large cap gappers. This is for my large cap day trading strategies as well as swing trading, mostly on the long side. This built-in scan essentially scans for the biggest gappers on the day. Often they are also the ones with the most amount of volume or relative volume. With this scanner over here, you can see that I'm scanning for stocks above $1 billion market cap, so definitely the large caps and the mega caps, gapping at over 3% on the day, and with at least over $1 million volume. And you can scroll down and see all the results here, and then you can see I'm sorting everything by gap percentage. So I'll usually use the top 5 results on the list for my gap up reversal long strategy, as well as the trend join long strategy. And some of these stock candidates on the gapper list that you see over here, after step number 2, they might also be fitting for my swing trading strategies. So let's take a look at the top gainer on the day, which is NIO. This is one of the Chinese EV stocks that's been gapping up a lot. You can see the gap percentage on the day is 18%. Also, relative volume is 2.68. That means it's been trading very, very high volume. 2.68 more than average in the last 2 weeks. So this is a stock I was watching for day trading on the day, as well as I'm currently swing trading. So if you take a look at this is my real brokerage account. I'm currently long NIO. This is a swing trade candidate. And no, we did not pick it up today. We picked it up on the first day of the gap up all the way over here. You can see that's my average, 5.73. And we've been riding this along for a swing trade for the last 2-3 days or so. So today we saw a very, very nice gap up. And this is the exact process I do take for myself for swing trading. You can see this is exactly how I discovered other swing ideas I'm currently in. Besides NIO, I also have Palantir. Got in on the first or second day of the gap up over here, and also Google that we also took a couple of days ago with the gap ups. But remember, just going through step number 1 of this pre-market trade planning routine is not enough for day trading or swing trading. We need to make sure we move on to step number 2 in just a little bit over here. But for now, let me go through the rest of the built-in scans over here, and I'll explain how I use them personally. So the next pre-market scan I use is a pre-market small cap gappers over here. Just as the name suggests, that instead of the large cap plays, this scanner is the one I use for trading small cap stocks. So you can see on the criteria over here, I'm scanning for stocks below 1 billion market cap. So you get a lot of small caps and micro caps. Volume, I want to see at least 100K, and I want to see at least 15% overnight gap. So the results over here, once you scroll down here, and once again, I'm sorting them by gap percentage. This is where in this result, you'll see a lot of these like small cap, lower floats here. You can see, only 1.7, 4.6 million shares float. You see the pricing a lot lower, usually below $10 or less. But that's where you see the most amount of explosive volume, right? Earlier when we were looking at large cap stocks, you're looking at stocks with 1.5 to 3 relative volume. Here, because of the nature of these small caps, they have a lot of momentum. When you have low float and high volume, that's when you get a lot of churn. In terms of the volume, you'll see something like hundreds of relative volume. That's how explosive these stocks could be. So just make sure when you're scanning for these kind of small cap stocks to trade, whether you're on the long side or the short side, make sure you're narrowing down the results that have over at least 2 relative volume. I use this scanner in particular for 2 kinds of small caps trading strategies. The bag holder daily short setup, in which I am shorting stocks that are gapping up to recent daily resistance, or the short trap consolidation long setup, in which I'm long and more bullish on these low float stocks with a catalyst on the first day or even second day of the gap up or breakout. But unlike the first strategy scanner we talked about earlier, I do not use this particular built-in scan, the pre-market small cap gap scan, for swing trading. Because one of the rules I've developed for myself near the end of last year is no swing trading for small cap stocks. Just absolutely not. I usually don't even consider it. The overnight risk on these small cap stocks is sometimes greater than the large caps. You can either wake up rich or you wake up broke. And I don't know if it's just me, but you let me know. Whenever I swing trade these kind of small cap stocks, I wake up broke. So moving along now to the built-in scan number 3 over here, the gap down scans for all the market cap stocks. This is a very interesting scan, not one that I use every single day because it doesn't always give me the results I'm looking for, but it's very useful when the time comes. I love to use this scanner in particular here, in which I'll sort it by the largest gap down percentage here. You can see all the losers on the day. I'll use the scanner for my daily support dip buy strategy for large cap stocks, especially when the entire market is gapping down drastically. Obviously, because of that, I don't get to use this particular setup or the scanner every single day, but I probably use it maybe once a month or so. But when the strategy works, it works very well. But the scanner is also very useful for the bag holder short setups and the extension daily short on the small cap stocks. So after I use these 3 built-in scans to scan for potential strategy and trades, the next step is step number 2, news analysis. Now with this step, I used to have to switch back and forth between 2 or sometimes even 3 other trading softwares, and all the subscriptions, the cost just added up over time. But now I can scan for news along with scanning for gappers in step number 1, with these scans all on Stocks.io. And it's extremely easy to read the news. So for example, back to the pre-market large cap gappers